So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Nearpod and sort of the lesson delivery feature, because that's what we're going to, that's what you'll be using Nearpod for. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jackie Patanio, and we'll do a quick walkthrough. So just so you know, what I'm using right now is I'm on Zoom. So what you can do on Zoom is simply record your meetings with just you in it, and do the screen sharing from here. Since Zoom is free, this is a nice way to be able to record your sessions and be able to post them either online or use them inside of a Nearpod or other lessons that you're using. So I'm just going to share my desktop. Okay, and what I'll do is I'm going to take us over to the Nearpod dashboard. So what you would do is, to get to Nearpod, you would go on over to nearpod.com. And like I mentioned before, the idea of Nearpod is that it's for lesson delivery. It's to be able to push out content to students, whether they're in front of you for live participation. They could also be at home participating in live participation, or they could be doing it at students self-paced. But this is a really good tool because it sort of encompasses everything that you probably need in one nice package. Again, this is paid because I don't think it's being paid for through the city, but it is a paid subscription. You can use the free version, but you'll have limited items that you can't necessarily use. I'm not sure right offhand which ones they are, but we'll look at some of the features that you can utilize today. So this is my dashboard. I have a whole bunch of lessons that I've already created. Yours might look different. It'll probably be blank, but you'll definitely see this piece right here where it says lessons in Nearpod, lessons in Google Slides, and video, which is in beta. So essentially you can come here to Nearpod and you can create these Nearpod slide decks, or if you're somebody who likes Google Slides, you can use Google Slides and you could connect the add-on to it and create your slides inside of there. This here, for anyone who's used Edpuzzle, that's what this is. It's where you can upload any video that you've created and you could drop ship assessment questions throughout the video. So think about students watching something and being able to actually have check-in points on what it is that they're learning. And then these videos can also be put into your Nearpod lessons. So they could be standalone and shared out, or they can simply be put into one of these lessons over here. Just to give you another walkthrough, you have your library, you have reports. So any data that you're collecting inside of these Nearpod slides, they will go right into the report section. So you have a lot of various assessments and information that you can collect from students while they're doing it, and they live right in here. We're not going to worry about these libraries, but again, for paid stuff, you'll have shared libraries where you can co-use each other's Nearpod lessons. So I could borrow from somebody else and remix the lesson that they did to suit my class's needs. And then when you come down, you have the content library. So you could search through Nearpod, and then they have the breakdown over here. But if I just went into the Nearpod library, I could pretty much search for anything and everything, full lessons, the subject area, standard, whatever it is. But that is all right over there. But I do like the fact that they have created these big content packages around digital citizenship and literacy, which is with Common Sense, the vocabulary, the social emotional piece. There is CRSC in here. But again, those are all over here on that side. So when you come on over and look at the lessons that are already created, you'll see that when I move my mouse over them, it says live participation or student paced. So let me go down to one that I can demo. So I could decide as the teacher, once I've created this, that the students in front of me, I want this to be the lesson delivery for the day. Again, if there are students at home who are participating in the lesson with you, or if someone else is doing it, they can also plug in the code for a live session, or they can access it through Google Classroom or another link. So I'm going to launch a live session. And then the directions pop up for me as the teacher. And this is how I would push this out to my students. So they would either put in the code, Once they go to join.nearpod.com, they would type that in. Or if I was using Google Classroom, I could push this out into their classroom. They would get it as an assignment. They would click on the link and they would be brought into here. So this would be displayed. Me as the teacher, I have my slides up on top, and as my students start coming into my presentation, I will see their heads over here. The other thing to note is that this will be green once my students are on. If anybody leaves this tab and they start going over shopping or doing something else, this will turn red, and I'll be able to click on it, and I will be able to see which student is not on task. So it'll tell me who's not on the screen that needs to be. Okay. And then me as the teacher, again, if I'm doing this live participation session, I have control over what the students see at their computer. So I will be doing the moving of the screen. Okay. And you'll see that I have an audio clip on my next slide. I can decide, do I want every student in the class, if they're wearing headphones, to listen to it on their own, or is it something that I'm going to be displaying for them? Again, it depends on the situation. So you would have to make that decision. So I click play on all devices. And then I would click play for me on this one. And since I did it on all devices, they would be responsible for clicking play on their own device. However, once I'm done and I'm moving on, if I click this and they're still watching it, it will automatically advance the next slide for them. Okay. And then we move on to another question that I put in here, which is taking a little bit while to load because I have a lot of things running in the background. But this was a multiple choice question. You'll see that has A, B over here, and I opted to have a timer put on it. So again, these are different assessments that I have embedded into my lesson. So this is actually the race to the top activity, where students have a series of questions and they have to race to the top of the mountain, or I believe that there's other games that you could put in here. So again, I can keep moving through as my students are watching, and this is the time to climb. That was the activity. And I'm just gonna keep on moving through just quickly. And then this is an embedded video. So this is a YouTube video based on one of the sessions we did with Nearpod. So I opted for this to be played on each student's individual devices when I was first prompted at that first prompt. So they would be responsible for watching this on their own. Okay. And then this is I actually embedded the interactive one as well. So this is the interactive video that I was mentioning before. And then this is the end. So I'm going to just end the session really quick, even though we didn't do much to it. That's what the teacher would do on his or her end in terms of like advancing the slides and just prepping for that. If a student was doing it self-paced, you would click self-paced, launch new self-paced lesson. And what you would do is you would give this code to the student. You would push out the link, the exact same thing that you could do with a live lesson, okay? And then if you want to require student submissions, which is probably a good idea because you're collecting the data and collecting information from them, you will toggle that on. And this is the amount of time that this code is valid until for them to be able to do it. But again, same premise as the live sessions. So again, this is for lesson delivery. This is like using Google Slides, but in a much more interactive way, right? It's just like creating a slideshow and pushing it out to your students in this method. So I'll come on over here to Lessons in Nearpod, and I'll just quickly show you how easy it is to be able to do this. So it's all about just clicking and adding. If you had a PowerPoint or a PDF that you wanted to just pull into here, all you would do is either drop it onto this circle or you can click upload. And what'll happen is it'll segment all of your slides into slides on here. And then you could either add interactive features on it or, just leave it as is for slides. Then you could put in the interactives in between. And then again, you would just go ahead and, like Google, you would change the title of the lesson by clicking on settings. Again, my computer is being very slow. So you would change the title here, and then you would come on over and click add slide or add slide on this one and go through the various types of items that you can add to your presentation with Nearpod. So content is content, so you can add in videos, slides. Basically, the slides are just like your words, your layouts like you would have in PowerPoint or regular Google Slides. Web content I like because web content is where you can put in a URL to an outside link. So maybe if you use Padlet, maybe if you have a primary sources that you want to share to, you could put the URL in right there and it'll bring them to that area. You also have some other options in terms of like embedding slideshows. You could add audio of yourself, but with the audio, if you were putting in voiceover, it would be something that would have to be on your device already and you would upload it. But again, this is just a very brief overview of the different things you can do. Graphing calculator, field trips, BBC has videos in here already that you can pull from. And then activities, that's where your assessments come in. Your time to climb, your multiple choice. I really enjoy the collaborate board because it mimics Padlet to an extent. Use Flipgrid, that's embedded right in here as well. And the draw it feature is super nice for math or if you want somebody to kind of like do a little freestyle with some type of writing, they're able to do that. Again, draw it is easier with an iPad or a stylus or a touchscreen as opposed to a trackpad or a regular mouse. But these are all the different things that you can do. And you can see that the idea of the lesson delivery with this particular tool is very easy. And it's kind of has everything all wrapped into one. And just really briefly, I will go on over to Google Slides and just show you that there's the add-on. This is where the add-on feature is. And this, again, this is where I would go. I'd click add-ons. I would click get add-ons and I would search for Nearpod. I don't need to do that because it actually pops up on here as one of the favorites. I have mine already here. You'd click Nearpod and what'll happen is on your slide deck that you're working on, the little menu pops up on the right-hand side and you could start adding interactives onto a slides document that you have. And then you would open it inside of the Nearpod platform over on this side. So once you were good to go, it would say save and open in Nearpod. And again, you would have to run it through Nearpod in order to get all those interactive features working. So that is a very, very, very basic overview of why you would use Nearpod. Again, there is the free version of it. It is definitely a tool that can give you a lot of what you might need for lesson delivery and interactiveness. Any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm here to help.